Hey everybody, it's your boy Double Jesus coming at you with my incredibly tanky Miss Marvel guide. What is the point of the incredibly tanky Miss Marvel guide? Well, it is to become an immortal god. So let's look at the stats here. Keep in mind that stats begin diminishing returns at 40 points. So ultimately, I would like to allocate some of my intensity, preferably around 38 points, over to might and valor proficiency. Maybe even a little bit of my resolve or armor. But currently right now I'm feeling very comfortable with my stats and perks. I had no problem doing the gauntlet, 8 levels all in one go. I didn't even get downed through any of it, I believe. So this is an effective build. Perhaps it is not the most efficient for clearing content, but I can still do a 5 or 6 level hive in about 12 to 15 minutes if I'm pushing it hard. So keep that in mind. It's very useful. So first thing we're going to look at is perks. We have a damage buff on heavy combo finishers. That is nice because her heavy combo finisher for her polymorph or normal state is 3 hits. Has a long animation on the last hit, but it still hits for a good amount. And also in Embiggen, she has a 2-hit heavy combo finisher. That can be very nice with this. It also has a chance on larger enemies to hit multiple times, which will most likely have a chance to proc this buff multiple times. I'm not really worried about the status effects on it. That's just extra. Preferably, you would go for something like electric in order to increase crit damage on enemies. And then the real topping on the cake here is increased critical hit chance from polymorph attacks. Now, some of my personal favorites here. Now, you'd think that this would not scale well or wouldn't work out very well, but you do a fair amount of range attacks as Miss Marvel. And so this chance of hitting an enemy with a ranged critical attack grants heroic charge burst. I definitely recommend it as one of her baseline items for sure, especially on this slot because there's so many poor perks for her on this slot because they tend to be, natured towards ranged attacks. I got lucky here with Expert Inspiration. That's pretty nice as well. A little bit of healing, a little bit of charge burst. I would have liked to have gotten a perk to get me heroic charge burst on critical attack kills as well. But hey, you got a triple 40 stat spread here. You can't be too choosy. Now we're looking at some sort of spin resilience. If you're using an epic piece or Jarvis barrier or some sort of spin armor like I currently have, just to get rid of the spin effects. They're very detrimental to all characters and character builds. Perfect evading grants willpower boost. It's very nice to give myself a little bit of healing. I'm going to be perfect evading a lot. A little bit of polymorph energy. Mostly we're just going on this for just the pure defensive stats. I'm waiting to find a triple spread, but it's very difficult because I have to have spin armor. And I would like some sort of polymorph boon. For my insignia here, we have a wonderful Quake. That's just a nice little cherry on top. This is also my best statted item so far. Critical Spark, chance takedowns, grant heroic charge boost for all heroics. That is a lovely, lovely perk. Get that if you can. And ultimate heroic charge rate, of course, for more Embiggins. Now, triple ISOs. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. I've managed to wrangle myself up to triple resilience as well as 2 triple mights. This one happens to have heroic charge burst on it, which is pretty nice. Get that heroic ability up more. Increased stun damage from heavy combo finishers. It's nice, not necessary. Hopefully we're looking for some sort of spin resistance here. But as you can see, I have double heavyweight impulse, cryo damage. It's negligible. I would prefer spin armor. Make sure that you save some things like this. You don't have to get them to 140. I have this on 140 so I can be lazy when I'm in multiplayer and I have to switch back and forth constantly. So that way my power level still remains high while I farm things like comics because it requires so many comics in order to get up tiers once you get past tier 2 and 3. So if you really want to start maxing out your tiers in your comics, you're going to need to start using Avid Collector early on. I'll tend to run doubles in easy missions or missions where I'm going to be picking up a lot of chests. These are my might. These are the might triple ISOs. I've been using them, but overall, I just feel they aren't as effective as just being unkillable. Now, as far as majors, unfortunately, Sacred Nornstone was the one that I leveled up first because it was the first one I got. It's probably not optimal. I'm working on Ring, but it's very expensive. And it's also slowing me down from getting 150 on other characters as well. Currently, I am uncertain as if Tyr's offensive is bugged or not. Someone is saying that they did not notice a damage boost, even though the buff does show up on your screen. So I will get back to you on that when I've tested it and found out for sure. And now we're just going to go into our skills. You'll see that these are pretty standard. You're going to look at Will to Live, Will to Fight, and Self-Res or Extend Duration of Inner Peace. Hopefully you have Defensive Spirit and you notice that you're one skill point short and didn't get something dumb. Standard, Patty Cake, too slow. You should always be using this. Also, keep in mind while you're in Biggin that the explosion radius and the size of your hand is increased. If there's a lot of flyers in the air, you will make it rain, as well as increase the duration of Embiggen for each of those. You can go for other things like critical attack does 35% more damage. I have been using that, but overall Embiggen is just kind of good by itself, but you can lean into more crit as well. Now we'll either go with increased duration or taunts. For myself, I would probably go crit and Big Trouble for solo content, and if you're playing with groups and you want to actually be a tank, you'll probably want to go with this and that, or maybe make it rain heroic orbs. But overall, I find that I prefer the just increased time duration or even this, because if you're fighting a boss, Embiggen is now useless for either of these effects, except for when the little ads spawn, but that's not your concern typically when you're fighting a boss. So you're going to want to go with one of these two things right here. For masteries, there'll be some standard stuff here and some non-standard stuff here. So with this, I want critical attack damage boost while air juggling, specifically because when you're air juggling opponents, it also increases your critical attack chance against them as a bonus. And that's what it says in Captain America. For some reason, he's one of the only characters where it tells you that in one of his skills. Now we have increased stun damage. You can also go with combo finishers. Heroic Takedown. This is standard across all characters. Concussive Mastery. Similar to Too Slow, you're looking for AoE damage. You're trying to stagger people. This is mostly for flyers in the air, so you can hit multiple flyers at once or kill multiple turrets that are grouped close together. That skill's whatever. Heroic Grab Mastery. I've actually never seen this spawn a Heroic Orb. Let me know if you've seen it. And now we get into the meat of the build. So you want to increase heroic regeneration while using polymorph. Now this is pretty, you can choose between one of these two probably. Damage of all melee attacks. This is very important because you don't do a lot of damage. So that's why we lean into this. You don't need to worry about damage reduction. You're already a tanky god. And here's where things get interesting. You get increased critical hit chance while polymorph is active by 15%. And this is really what we're abusing here. It's Cunning Resolve along with polymorph precision. And as you can see, I had another piece of gear that had increased polymorph crit. That's pretty much needed for this build in order to push your crit higher. And so these two combined, these abilities can only be used while polymorphed. So you're always going to be taking advantage of, if this is additive, a 30% increased crit chance on top of your other basic crit modifiers. And that's where we're getting our damage from mostly, is just polymorph crit, Embiggen damage, and not dying. This is by far, in my opinion, the best out of these three for any build. You're going to be perfect evading more, and if you're doing higher challenge content, they're going to be mostly red attacks, so perfect evade makes the most sense. This one is completely up to you. I would choose between Sixth Sense or Nimble Reflexes. Both of those are perfectly good. So tell me what you think. What are your Miss Marvel builds? Have you tried the tanky Miss Marvel build? Are you a glass cannon Miss Marvel? Heroic Miss Marvel? You're getting your valor out there? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for future videos and updates, as well as when I go live to stream Marvel's Avengers and other games. Thank you.